Hey everybody, how you liking my hat? My Perez Chica hat, which was purchased in Calvillo, by the way. Last time I was there with numerous family members, we walked into the Mercado by the main church, and somebody spotted this for sale. And we asked, "How many of these hats do you have? We'd like to buy more." And they said, "How many do you need?" So I think we bought 8 that day. They had them in stock, Perez Chica ball caps. So I just wanted to show it off and share. But yeah, if you want one of your own, head on over to Calvillo. Which, if you notice, I posted a survey. Yeah, I need a little haircut there. I posted a little survey in the Everything Paris Chica group, Facebook group, and I was surprised. It was about 50-50 for people who have or have not been to Calvillo. So if you have not, you need to go. It's quite an experience, not only in Calvillo, but in the city of Aguascalientes. Make it happen. Today, what I'm going to make happen is the final story of Francisco Perez de la Chica. And it turned out to be quite a story. If you remember, he was a muleteer from born in Malaga, Spain. In fact, let's recap a little bit the life of Don Francisco, my fourth great grandfather. All right, so here we have the chronology for Francisco. He was born in Malaga, Spain in the year 1754. The next time he shows up on record is when he's 32 years old in the year 1786, when he filed a lawsuit in Real de Catorce in what was New Spain before it was Mexico. In 1789, he got married to Maria Prisca Arellano at the age of 35 in Mexico City. And then between the years 1790 and 1798, he and Maria Prisca had their children in various locations of New Spain. At the age of 55, Francisco Jr. got married in the city of Huejucar, which is current day Calvillo, in 1809. The next year, the War of Independence with Spain had begun. 2 years later, I have documentation that Francisco Sr. had conducted business in the city of Pénjamo in the state of Guanajuato. And 5 years later, I have a documentation of him taking up residence also in Pénjamo. Now understand, by this time in his life, all of his kids, including his wife, are in Calvillo. He is traveling alone now. And I guess that was a good thing, because in 1818, pardon me, in 1818, at the age of 64 years old, Francisco, as I mentioned in the last video, was arrested in Pénjamo, Guanajuato. So here's where the story begins and gets interesting. So here we go. I wanted to show you exactly where Pénjamo is located. So right about in this area here, not too far from Aguascalientes, and not too far from Mexico City. If you're in a car, I guess if you're driving mule trains, the trail's a lot more treacherous. But understand where we are in history here. The war for Mexican independence from Spain ended in 1821. So in the year 1818, Francisco gets himself arrested. So I was lucky to hire a genealogist who got into the archives in Mexico City and found a number of documents, which I'm going to share with you today, that not only shows the documents that he had on his person, but it lists the dialogue that took place between him and the judge that was interrogating him. Yeah, that is a genealogy goldmine. So I'm going to go through that with you all today. So let me get out my trusty book here. I have I'm going to share those documents with you, but I'd also like to read from all of the translated version that I have. So I hope not to bore you from reading. So while I'm reading this document, you don't get lost in the sauce, I'm going to start showing images of the documents that were on his person on the date of arrest, his arrest. And then I'm going to show you the document of the interrogation. So those of you that speak Spanish, you can go through and read through this stuff. You can pause the video if you want. And maybe if you find any mistakes that were in the translation or any key points that were missed, feel free to send me a message. So to add a little context here, by 1818, the war was, I guess they were in the thick of it. There is a fort that is nearby to where Francisco lived, and it has two names because that fort, between the insurgents and the royal army, the king's troops they call it, ownership of that fort changed hands several times. So when the insurgents were in possession of this fort, it was called Fuerte de los Remedios. When the Spaniards had control of the fort, it was called Fuerte de San Gregorio. Now, at this time of the arrest, it was San Gregorio, so the Spaniards had possession. So the arrest occurred on the date January 13 of 1818, and this was 2 weeks after the fall of Fuerte de los Remedios. So by comparison, in the United States, 12 days earlier, on January 1st, 1818, was the day that the White House in Washington officially opened. So the following are Francisco Perez de la Chica's responses during the transcribed interrogation translated from Spanish. So I can picture there was a judge, a scribe, and Francisco, and probably some troops in the room. So the judge asks him to state his name, state the country of origin, his occupation, and marital status. So right there, there's a lot of information packed into the first answer. And based on this answer, I think you're going to agree that Francisco was an educated man. His response: my name is Francisco Perez de la Chica, originally from the city of Malaga, occupation arriero. That's the Spanish word for muleteer. Married in the kingdom and town called Güemes, which is not accurate because he was married in Mexico City, but his wife was from Güemes when he met her. That was in the Colonia del Nuevo Santander. Judge: what is the reason that you are being held under guard by the provision of the regiment of Zaragoza? I was taken prisoner by the king's troops. When and where and why were you apprehended by the troops? It happened at the break of dawn on the 13th. I was taken as I was descending from a pasture in a ranch whose name I cannot remember but belongs to the Hacienda de San Isidro. Judge: oh, this is a big book. Where were you arrested? Oh, no. Were you arrested alone or were there others with you? Oh, this book is too big. It's hard to hold it. Yes, at the same time, El Comandante, Don Ignacio Vivriescas. They also took another young man named Jose Maria, a servant of Vivriescas. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And they killed another named Areces, who was an insurgent leaving the Fuerte de los Remedios for having resisted the king's troops. I was living with Vivriescas since September of last year. This was a consequence of an order issued by the American government. I can understand if the American government was involved in a lot of stuff, even way back then, which ordered that every haciendado, or farmer, move away at least 5 leagues, which is equivalent to about 15 miles, from the circumference of the fort. And in essence, the king's troops, whose order I effectively obeyed by leaving the Rancho de los Pintores, where I previously lived. Judge, how is it that you're living in the Hacienda de San Isidro and being found in the pasture in a ranch in the company of Commander Viviescas and the insurgent Areces? And what is your reason for travel? Francisco, it was due to an order given by Don Rafael Chavez under penalty of death. No one is to sleep in their homes at night. In the compliance of it, everyone slept in the place we were found, at least pertaining to myself, Bribriescas, and his servant, Jose Maria. As for the insurgent, Areces, it was a coincidence that he was found here, since he had arrived about 10 o'clock at night from Agua Caliente de Coitzo. According to him, he was going to leave that morning. Judge, do you recognize the documents presented to you, and are they the same as the ones taken from you during your arrest? Francisco, they are the same ones that were in my possession and belong to me and my dependencies. Judge, why were you in the company of the insurgent government and didn't segregate yourself from it before today? Francisco, I beg the king's mercy and pardon. I feared the insurgents would rob me. This could mean kidnap, taken prisoner, or robbed of my material goods. Judge, what employment or consideration did you receive from the American government? I have never had employment nor received any special consideration. They only used me for my foraging services. Judge, do you know what the penalty is for treason according to the king's laws? Francisco, I know for sure it is death. Do you have anything more to add, says the judge. Francisco finishes by saying, I have been truthful under oath and affirm that it has been written, and this is my declaration. So his case was quickly deliberated upon and fortunately had a favorable outcome. There was a colonel, Don Ignacio Elizondo, granted Don Francisco a full pardon after proving his innocence and involvement and any involvement with the insurgents. So I mentioned that he was traveling alone, and the tragedy here is that 3 months prior to this happening, his wife had passed away from smallpox. I doubt that he knew at this time that his wife had passed. I want to find out the date the date of his death and anything else business-wise. Okay, I have to put my hat back on. So I hope you all enjoyed this journey through this sliver of Francisco Perez de la Chica's life. I am so grateful to have the copies of these precious documents, and I'm also glad to have this platform to share them all with you. I also want to announce that I have started a YouTube channel with the same name, Everything Perez Chica. So I know some people don't have a Facebook group to view these. Now you don't even have to have a YouTube account. You can just go there, type in Everything Perez Chica, and these 4 videos as of now and beyond, you will have access to. And in Facebook, you kind of have to scroll up and down and muddle through all the existing postings that went on during that time. With YouTube, you just go there, it's just videos, and they are there in chronological order. All right, so I will see you on video number 5, and I hope you have a great day.